of a Dream podcast. This is really just where we all gather. Okay, today we're talking about our great things, how we start ourselves every single day, grounding ourselves in our greatness. It is a vital practice in order for us to start rising back up, taking back the life which is ours, which we are so deserving of, which the world is deserving of us in our fullness. And so we have to start practicing that, right? Because we are not trained in this realm. In fact, I believe we're trained for the exact opposite, to actually focus on the terrible things. And I don't feel like there's any strength to be had there. Not that you don't have weaknesses and that you shouldn't know what they are, just that, why even generate, promote, and focus much of your energy there? Build the things you are strong at and continue building and fostering and find strength there. The rest of the stuff you can hire for later. If you have strengths, they're worth knowing so that you know who you need to rally around you to overcome them, to just not have to do those things anymore. Okay. So, greatness grounding. Today, my great thing is this is the 400th episode that I have produced, published, and anchored. And while anyone, if you're sitting and listening and wondering, should I start a podcast? Anyone can start a podcast. Any single person who wants to start a podcast, who wants to start talking about something, do it. Do it. Don't go crazy trying to figure out if you should or you shouldn't. What should it be about? Just start talking, period. If you have a call to do something like that, do it. Do it. Okay? I want to reflect on just how many places we've been in these 400th episodes, and just even the idea of what this would become. What I thought starting out would very much be this inspiring, life-changing, I'm going to go change the world by changing people's lives, has turned into just my own exploration. And I think in order to change other people's lives, you would have to have changed your own first. And I don't know, there was really a while during this last year that I didn't think we were getting anywhere at all. In fact, I felt like I was being a detriment to all of the people who may still be listening. And it was hard to continue on through those moments, but I knew that part was probably more important than any of it. And if we could survive that, and we could survive it together, and we could keep waking up together, and we could keep pushing on and figure out what it looks like to drive through the darkness, to find ways back to light, knowing that you are light, even though your candle may have been blown out for a while. I knew that may be the most important part. And so that kept me going through that darkness. That kept me bringing the darkness here. Even though that's weird too. This is supposed to be a motivational, inspirational place that I come to get excited, to start pursuing my own dreams. And this girl needs deeper help. And I don't know that I'm being inspired anymore. Okay. Right. But I couldn't not be what I was. And I didn't want to be what I wasn't. I didn't want to be something I wasn't. It was important that I show up every day just as I am and navigate that too. Now on the other side of that, it feels so much better. And today, actually doing the 400th episode, I want to be all the things, right? Excited and proud of myself and just knowing that at some point this is all going to make perfect sense, even though maybe even right now it doesn't. And I think it's even harder to continue on with something when there are no like normal signs, right? And I say normal and I'm laughing because even when I left my job, it was like I wasn't getting normal, quote unquote, normal signs, which would be like a monetary advance to go ahead and jump out and take this risk. And I didn't have like exact reasons or calls or guarantees that this was the road. I, very much took a spiritual faith journey with the exploration of that and just trusted that this was where I was supposed to go, even though I only had, right, the spiritual acknowledgement and reasons. And I think it really is dependent on your faith and what you choose to believe. But I think a lot of us get that mixed up, right? And we confuse faith with guarantee. And faith isn't about guarantee. Faith is about the trust, right? Faith is jumping and not knowing sometimes, every time. Yikes. And there's no way of knowing. And in fact, if you do know, there will come a point where that will be tested again, where you will have to show your faith. And I just chose to take my faith journey early on, so that maybe, hopefully, I won't have to have a comeuppance of faith journey later. And everybody's path is so different and everybody's path is so beautiful. And I think the reason to continue doing this show was to continue being a voice for your path, for your own journey, like for the encouragement of your own exploration of self-love. And at the end of the day, the most important thing that I have found over these last 400 episodes is that everything starts and ends with you and your own ability to love and appreciate and acknowledge yourself, your worth, your being, and everything that stems off of that, off of the belief and acknowledgement that you are these beautiful things, that you are so worthy of exactness and beauty and everything that is meant for you. Like, if I can just encourage that more than anything, then I shall keep going. And that's just been such a true underlying to the entirety of this experience. And I feel like I'm getting even deeper with that work, even deeper with the understanding of what that is, even deeper with the understanding that there may just be people who can't see that, who won't get to that place, and that's okay too. Like, that is their journey and this is my journey, and they are separate for a reason. And we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper today. But I think my great thing is doing 400 episodes and the madness that goes along with doing something no one asks you to do. Doing something that has never been done before, right? Like, you can't, there is no exact show note for what this even is, which I don't know if that hurts or helps me, but like, you can't duplicate this. This is creative liberties at its best, right? It's becoming every day. It's continuing to navigate and drive forward on my own self-work piece in hope that it inspires someone to do their own. And the journey to self-love is so personal and exploratory that you can't write any one book on it, right? You can't do any one podcast show. Every single thing that you turn up on this journey really is going to lead you there. There is no one source except for yourself. You are the source, you are the root, you are the cause, you are all the things. And so you can continue to look outward to turn over that next stone. But at the end of the day, you are the X factor. And this is the 400th episode, finding my own X factor as we continue to venture on what this looks like. Right? You are your own adventure. Go. Do it. Find it. Explore. Read. Write. Speak. All of the things. All of the things. All of them. Every single one. Okay. That's my great thing. Go ahead. Take time. Recognize yourself for your great thing. Do some confetti. I don't know what you are doing, but I do know that it's amazing. I've just seen so many people who have come in contact with me, who have come in contact with this show, who I have personally had conversations with, that find their way to greatness, even though they felt extremely lost. And that's everything I could ever ask for. And if that's reason enough to keep going, then we shall continue. Episode 400, and I can't wait to be coming back to you when we're on episode 800. And we have done even more things to impact and change this world together. And that's just it. Okay, let's dive in. This episode, wow, why did I just say episode? Oh my gosh, it's like I'm a professional podcaster. Hey guys, go ahead and like and subscribe, leave a review. That's really how you support me best. Okay, let's go. Sorry, I just went into professional podcast. You know what? And also, come on over and I'm going to teach you everything that I know on this. Okay, get back into Hanna. Is there a sneeze coming somewhere? Okay, real life, this is me. Here I am. Okay, I gotta refocus. On protecting your light. Here's the thing. If you know that you are a light, and hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And if you know what I'm talking about, you probably are. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you may just need to find your light in order to be one. Or you may not be a light. In fact, I believe that every single person is a light. They are a light in their own way, in their own specific way. And sometimes here's the crazier thing with lights. Sometimes we think we are a light, and that's like an ego light to even believe that we are a light, right? And the way to navigate whether you're an ego light or an actual light, I think really just lies in intent. And by that, I mean, like, if your purpose of being a light is to grow your own thing, is to find, like, light should be about connection, inspiration, the doing of work without expectation. And that's a tricky one. Especially in the real world that we live in. Like, Hanna, yeah, that's all great, except for, like, I got bills to pay. And trust, I totally get it. And there are so many realities that exist around that I can't even escape from myself. I will just say, if you're a light, you can follow that and trust that light will be returned. Even if it doesn't seem like it will be, probably your biggest step is just on faith And by step, I mean jump. It will be a jump. You will have to jump at some point and just trust. And you'll grow stronger in that trust. You'll grow stronger in that faith. That journey will strengthen you like nothing else. So, if you are a light, here's the challenge and the beauty. It is a beautiful thing to be a light. No question. The challenge is when we acknowledge and figure out that we are indeed a light, we want to help everyone. We want to help everyone get there. We want to bring them all along. And, I think for me, one of the most important parts was doing this podcast because it lightened the load of me having to light the way for so many people, of me expelling light on people who were not ready for it, and me really just expelling light, period. And, when you do that, that's just a constant energy suck. Especially like I was doing it, it would be like, ooh, I'd get the chance to talk about something. I'd get the chance to like go to higher heights with someone, and I would just like explode and vomit and like expel energy like no other. And then that would either be accepted or rejected. And then both paths just took a dangerous journey. Because if we went down the path of acceptance and they weren't really there or ready, I would end up pouring all of my good energy light into that person, and they would just suck and suck and suck until I was sucked completely dry, until I had nothing left to give, and I would have to retreat and try to suck that all back up and try to regain my own energy source. And that has repeated for me a lot. And so when I just started to retreat and really protect my own light, which looked like podcasting, that gave me the ability to expand my light without, the pouring into someone and someone being able to suck until I was dry, This allows people to experience that light, even though it has by no means always been a producer of light. Trust, this has been a journey. We're on episode 400. I still don't even know how far. I know how far we've come. I still don't even know exactly where we're going. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts. And then the road where the light is rejected, And if you are someone who can read energies, and you are someone who can understand how important your light might be in someone's journey, and they reject it, I think that might even be worse than having all of the energy being sucked out of you. Because that rejection of your light, especially when you know how much of a gift your light is a hard pill to swallow. And I think for all of us, all of us who are a light, it really comes down to you protecting and valuing your light in ways that and this is hard as you start to experiment with and understand the ego side of your light. You can better explore what it looks like to navigate without having to be a light for someone, which then, gives you back your own energy. And fully trusting and knowing those people who are deserving of it and those who aren't. And I think for me, that always looks like just my gut feeling, period. And I do a really, really great job. Like, I'm almost expert status. I'm pretty sure I would never claim any expert status um, ticket or knighting of myself but this one. I am really good at searching and searching and searching and believing there is good and hearing in my gut that there is not good to be done here, that there is nothing for you here, and continuing to search and pursue anyways, and being rejected and thrown out and thrown on my face, and still believing in my own light and my own ability to help and pursue and save and dive in and find good and keep searching, find the good, and they reject and throw away. And I'm still like, find the good, there is good, there is good, there is good, there is good in everyone. Keep searching. And there is good in everyone. But not everyone is good for you. And that's like a extremely hard pill to swallow, especially if you are a light, especially if you understand the importance of your energy anywhere. And I just want you to know that your light is worth protecting, that it is not made for everyone, that everyone does not need nor want your light. And that doesn't mean that they won't come around. But if the energy looks like it's being sucked or the energy looks like it's being rejected, it's okay. They may have to get there on their own. You may just have to fall back. Fall back and accept that you may not be the person to get them there. Especially not if they're just walking all over you, rejecting you, stomping on you, jumping on you, continually pulling you through the mud, even though you don't deserve it, even though you're just purely being a light, even though you do nothing but support and love and push up. And if they aren't seeing your light, or if they're continuing to just drag you down and use you and, you got to get out. And it's okay to get out. It's okay to relieve yourself. It's okay to take your light back. And that is not selfish. That is not selfish. Actually, it's the exact opposite. The second that you start taking your light back, especially if it's been taken advantage of, you begin to heal from that. And you can begin to light other paths that actually would use that the right way, that actually want and would appreciate that. And so many times we just blindly pursue people who reject it because we want to be right? And that's our ego. And trust me, even with the ego journey that I have taken, trust, I'm in a better place. I still am just realizing that sometimes the ego of my light wants to be that person for someone, especially someone that I really love. And sometimes you just can't, especially if the relationship's in that place, right? And so it's okay to acknowledge that you can't be that person for everyone, that you are not meant to be the light for someone. And it's okay for them to find their path by themselves. In fact, it may be necessary, because if they're constantly trying to pull your energy in order for them to propel forward, they aren't using their own light because they don't have to, right? They realize that they always have yours to depend on, and so they don't have to search out their own. And so you pulling your light back, you protecting yourself from those situations may in fact be the only way for them to find their own light. And for you to actually make good use of your own. You aren't here to save everyone. You aren't here to light the way for everyone. You aren't, right? And maybe you can find what your own practice of protection looks like. For me, obviously, this podcast spoken word is like where I Jones the hardest. Okay. And I'm beginning to expand what that creativity looks like, what creation looks like for me, because I'm just so called to create and to continue figuring out what that outlet looks like. And so anytime that you're struggling with light work, with people taking advantage of that light, with people expending your energy, start to come back to self and center, and start to work with what that might look like for you to expel that energy somewhere else, instead of waste it on them. And just test it. Whereas normally you would take that phone call or have that conversation or coffee, whatever that looks like, whatever that relationship looks like, maybe draw inward and see if you paint or draw or write or speak or create something with that energy versus flow it into someone else. See which one feels better. And it's okay. Like maybe this weekend it looks like, hey, I can't get coffee this weekend, or I can't hang out this weekend, or I can't take your phone call right now. And create in that time that you would have used to do that. And then next weekend, take the phone call, do the meeting, and see which one felt better. See which one was life-giving and which one was energy draining. And you may find out that that person is not energy draining at all, that they do encourage and allow you to experience light. But you may have to test it in both of those ways. And I will say, if you are testing creativity, if you're doing something you've never done before, so if you haven't ever spoken before, if you haven't ever written before or drawn or whatever that looks like, do not critique. Just create. Do not critique. Just create as an expansion of your energy and your own light. That energy is there to create. We are creative beings. We absolutely are. Because, think about it. When you were a kid, did you critique or did you just create? Right? You just created. And I see it in my own two kids. As they get older, as they are exposed to the more regular methods of critiquing and deciding if you're going to be good or not, and ending the pursuit at not good, I can begin to realize why we stopped creating in the first place, right? When we create and critique, it's hard for us to create authentically, to create anything that we feel like just doing. Like if you feel like just drawing, just draw. No end result. Just draw, just create, just bring something beautiful into this world with the light and the energy that you have within yourself and see where you get. Right? Do not critique. Just expend that energy, that light somewhere in a positive way and see where you end up. But bottom line, every single day, you should be working to protect your own light. And there are a lot of people out there who are going to try to just absorb your light and never give anything back. You have to start protecting yourself from those people. Just start testing what that might look like and test who those people are for you. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world. And thank you for 400 episodes.